This is Gateway City Sports.
It's a trap!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear from the big sports to the big screen.
He's all by himself, fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No! Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
He doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Time winding down, Michael for three. Yes! She is gone!
I can't believe what I just saw.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! You believe in miracles? Yes!
You may fire when ready.
What?
Cubs and Cardinals fans, it's Thursday, September 23rd, and I don't know if you could hear the intro music because I certainly could, but I definitely heard Ron in the background clunking and clanking around as he was getting ready for the show. It's been a nightmare back here behind the scenes, but you don't really care about that because the Cubs and Cardinals face off this weekend. Can the Cardinals string along to I believe we can make it 15 in a row, maybe 16? We'll see. Anyway, this is the Team Rivals podcast, proud members of the Gateway City Sports Network, where you can find great podcast and blog content. We are down one tonight. Before I get to that, you can follow us online at TeamRivalsPodcast.com. We're on Instagram and Facebook at Team Rivals Podcast and on Twitter at Team Rivals Pod. And for those of you watching us live, hit the like and subscribe buttons and be sure to ring that bell on YouTube so that you receive notifications anytime we post new content like going live tonight. I know you were asking for it. We finally did it because Ron's all excited about 12 wins in a row. Speaking of which, joining me for tonight's show, number 48, the 2020 edition of the Top Cards on Twitter, Ron Nuttall. Ron, we don't have an Elliott. We're not going to get into why, but we do want to let you guys know that it's just going to go old school. We're going way back to what, 5 years ago, and apparently I'm going back to dial-up. So hope you enjoyed the show. And
that's right.
At least you get to look at Ron's.
It's been rough. Yeah, it's been a little rough go. And I'm sorry, I know you couldn't hear it. The rendezvous chat was set to my webcam mic, so you couldn't hear the music. But you know what, Pete, your intuition actually timed it almost perfectly. I couldn't believe you couldn't hear the intro music, and you timed it like perfect. So you must have that clock in your head.
No, at this point, actually, I could hear it just enough.
Okay. Fair enough. Yes, we are down one tonight, and he couldn't join us. He's got good reasons to not join us tonight, so we're just going to leave it at that. And we hope everything's okay, and Elliott can rejoin us next week for some fun. That's what we're hoping for.
Ron, let's get into the important stuff. Have you bought the boys Nutty Buddies?
No, you know what? It's funny. No, I have not. And I know what you're getting at because our good friend Mark Littell owns that cup company called Nutty Buddy. And it was funny because a couple of years ago, pre-COVID, I think it was 2019, Will barked at me as I was heading to Academy Sports. Hey, Dad, don't forget to get me one of those penis things. And I let Mark know that. And he posted the text I sent him about that. But yes, Mark owns the Nutty Buddy company. I don't know exactly what we got them or when, but no, I've not. And I should, and I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that I did not buy them Nutty, but they're supposed to be really comfortable, anatomically correct, even for an 8-year-old. So I'll have to make the switch, man. I should just do it. And Mark he wouldn't be mad at me right now, but he'd be like, really? How many shows of yours have I been on? You have not bought your sons, your young baseball players, a Nutty Buddy, and I haven't done it yet. I'm sorry. I'm a
Well, I
failure.
will tell you, it didn't my intention to sit down with the boy and get him to record an advertisement for us.
Oh, really?
Because I did, yeah. So he's at the age this past spring where they said that now cups were required. And so his mom got him one.
Oh, really?
And she admitted she had no idea what she was doing, but he complained about it all the entire spring season. He complained about how uncomfortable it was, and that he didn't feel like.
Well, you think about it, man. You've existed your whole life playing sports, playing basketball, playing whatever, PE, recess. You've never had anything hugging your junk, no matter how young you are, and all of a sudden you've got something strapped to it. I mean, it takes a little getting used to.
It does. And also like it's very pointy at the bottom.
Yeah.
So it can't be particularly comfortable. So as he started the fall season, I went out and I bought his first Nutty Buddy system. And it's not just cup, right?
You bought a Nutty Buddy.
I bought him the whole thing. I bought him the compression shorts, and then the supporter, and then the Nutty Buddy. And I didn't realize it until I got it. Like there are three integrated pieces, but they're not one locked in system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of are allowed to flow, and they all rely on each other for pressure and everything. So after the game last week, when we finally wore it for the first time, I asked him about it, and he said, well, the shorts and the jock aren't as comfortable because they're really tight.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but the cup was nice. Like I can run again, Dad.
Wow. See, that is we'll tag Mark in this episode. I mean, literally a testimonial from Pete's boy there wearing the Nutty Buddy system. I will have to, and I think, Pete, what's happened is, I don't want to say this out loud, I don't know if I got these or my wife got these. They're recycled. When you have an older boy, they get recycled down to the younger one, and it's one of those perpetual things. And so, gosh, my 8-year-old, I feel bad. I mean, my 8-year-old's low maintenance. He doesn't ask for much. I mean, he really doesn't ask for a lot, so he doesn't really care. He doesn't really care what he's wearing to school. He's not socially aware yet of what he looks like. He doesn't give a shit about anything. And he doesn't care about clothes, shoes, but he gets all these hand-me-downs from his older brother, and I guess that happens in a lot of households. So I don't feel that bad, but once in a while, maybe I shouldn't pass a cup down. Maybe that's just one of those things you don't do. It's like car seats. Car seats have an expiration date. You can't just give your sister-in-law a car seat that's 7 years old. You're not supposed to do that. So why the hell would you give the boys protection? Why would you pass that down from child to child? You should just, like car seats. They should have an expiration date. You should have to replace it.
Well, they do have an expiration date, right? I mean, once you grow out of it, that thing's done.
Yeah, that's true.
Although, I mean, when you think about it, though, at least with the Nutty Buddy,
yeah,
right? All you have to do is get him a new pair of compression shorts because nothing else is touching. Because the shorts, they create that barrier.
I'm gonna fire a text off to our friend tonight, letting him know we're talking about it, and we'll see. You never know; he's a wild card, man. He might call in, so I'll just fire it off to you. So fire it into a topic and give me 60 seconds, please.
You can definitely tell him that he got a big thumbs up from an 8-year-old.
We'll do that.
Fire into a topic. Let's see. From the Cubs' point of view, Jason Hayward's season is over. Took a pretty nasty shot to his head, and he's suffering pretty severe concussion syndrome, concussion symptoms. So, boy, you Cardinals are dodging a bullet right at the right time because, if we had Jay Hay and his barely over 200 batting average man in right field, woo-hoo! I don't know how much longer your lead in the wild card would last. Frank Schwindel continues to hit, and I think it's starting to get to the point where we kind of have to take the guy seriously. And if you stop and think about it, you wonder if he was just a circumstance of timing, right? Because when he was in Kansas City, he was stuck behind Hosmer. Then he went to Oakland. Then he went to Detroit. He certainly wasn't going to unseat Miguel Cabrera. Then he went to Oakland. They had Matt Olson, so if he continues to hit like this, he looks like one of those cases where he finally got his opportunity at age 30. And so you only hope that his window stays open long enough that he can enjoy the fruits of his early success. What else? Patrick Wisdom getting close to 50% strikeouts on the year, which is impressive. And the Cardinals are riding a 12-game winning streak. So, up here in Chicago. Oh, and the White Sox clinched the division today. Not that hurts nearly as much as the Cardinals about to make playoffs, but on the north side of Chicago, life sucks.
Yeah, I understand. Not surprised to hear about the Patrick Wisdom news and statistics and strikes out half of his at-bats. I am more surprised that St. Louis has ripped off 12 straight wins, and if you would have told me it would have been against, 4 against the Brewers and the previous 3 being against the Padres, I'd have been a little bit shocked a few months ago when you told me that. So, even today,
although the Padres are playing some of the worst baseball in the majors right now.
Yeah, they really are. And they lost 3 straight to St. Louis. They'd only lost a couple before that. But yeah, I mean, when you think about it and their record and just the team they have, you're like, it's surprising. I mean, they were a shoo-in. I mean, all of us were talking preseason, like out of that West, like top 2 teams in the National League. We all thought at the time were going to be the Dodgers and the Padres, and I know they've been really hit by the injury, but especially their pitching staff, which has probably trickled down to their offense and defense, and they're trying to do too much, and they've got a lot of young players. I mean, I noticed during the Padres games, Fernando Tatis just, his age is showing. In key at bats, he's trying to do too much. Even when he's ahead in the count, swinging at taking monstrous swings at pitches he shouldn't even be swinging at, so I don't know. It's putting pressure on the offense. We all know what that's like, right? You try to do too much, and tempers are high. Patience is short. A little bit of a dust up between Machado and Tatis when they were in St. Louis in the visitors' dugout. I think that was they handled that pretty well. Kind of a little joint ad hoc media session there to talk about it with the crowd. So that was kind of an issue that went away really quick. But Padres just. Yeah, man. I don't know what you think when you're on the Padres team. You're looking up and the Giants are like creeping up on 100 wins. I don't know what the score was tonight, but I don't know if the Padres snapped their losing skid or not. They're out of it, right? I mean, they're they're done.
I think they're. Yeah, I can't see them coming back.
I mean, you have to leapfrog too many teams at this point, and I don't know how you do that.
Yep.
I don't know how you do that.
Especially with the holes in the rotation that they have. I mean, look, you're clearly desperate when you sign Jake Arrieta off the scrap heap for the final death throes of his career.
Yeah, and they
DFA'd him. Work out for you. I mean,
they just DFA'd him. What, today or yesterday? I mean, just recently.
It was yesterday.
Wasn't? Yeah. I mean, so there's 6 out now. There's only. I mean, I think St. Louis only has 11 games left. And you got to leapfrog Cincinnati, Philadelphia, who's playing a little bit better right now. I don't know.
What do you do if you're that team? Do you push in again next year?
Well, it seems like they have like 3 years in a row, right? I mean, starting with the Hosmer, paying big money for Eric Hosmer
value deal.
Right, that totally was. And then you had a Machado deal, and then you have a rookie who you roll the dice on, and you pay him a lot of money to lock him up, so he's there for life. Assuming he's there for life, but like San Diego's old tricks. I think history at some point in time is going to repeat itself there, and I don't know. Do you smell a fire sale down the road for them? Like
I kind of wonder, man. I mean, how long can you do this? And obviously, they're not going to get rid of Tatis. He's too young. He's too talented. He's not going to go. But Hosmer, Machado, and there was talk at the trade deadline that they were dangling Hosmer just to get him off the books. But it was going to cost them prospects, and they didn't want to do it. So you wonder. I mean, how much more can you push in on this team?
I don't know.
Is it going to be the Cubs and the Padres leading the pitching free agent market this coming year? I mean, because they're now granted they had a lot of injuries in their pitching staff, but still that rotation needs to be doesn't necessarily need to be upgraded, but it needs depth, and that's the one thing that they've shown.
I tell you what,
but
that's what they were trying to do, though. I mean, that's, you know, all the people they traded for and signed. I mean, I think that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to have a really, really good 1 through 5 that could compete with the Dodgers. I mean, just having that depth, that long, you know, that you know, you get no break against San Diego, against the Dodgers, and I think San Diego was trying to replicate that in some way, shape, or form. And it's, I tell you what, though,
when I say depth, I'm thinking of having those guys who are either in the bullpen as swingmen or else down at AAA. Who can, if somebody goes down, they can take 2 or 3 turns through the rotation and not going to have too much of a drop off. You know, they can at least help you limp along until you get that pitcher back. And they just had too many injuries in the rotation.
They did. Too many key people.
Their lack of depth at AAA got exposed.
And Darvish has turned into the Cubs Darvish of a couple years ago. Like, he's been okay. I mean, he had a really good start against the Cardinals in his turn against them, but you know, he struggled for almost 2 or 3 weeks now. He hasn't looked that great, and I don't know, Pete. I think the dice rolling on Tatis. I know he's uber talented, right? He's got everything there that you would want, star power, you know, Scott Boras wet dream in that thing. But I'm just wondering if that's going to shoot him in the foot. Like, at some point in time, if he trails off at all, if his trend goes down, I mean, that's an immovable contract already. So young. It's a risky move, ballsy move. But I mean, we'll see.
I think the difficulty in it is, and I think it's the same thing that the Mets may be experiencing right now too, is they've chosen to roll the dice on somebody who's incredibly young and talented, right? So even though the
who are you talking about? Are you talking about Alonso or Lindor?
No, I'm talking about Lindor.
Yeah.
So let's assume, let's take as a given that the talent is going to persist for both Tatis and Lindor. You still have a couple of young guys who have never led a team before, and that's a skill. And if you're building around those guys and they can't provide the leadership that you need, I think it's probably pretty hard. It can be hard to get people to lead them, right? I mean, players like Anthony Rizzo are unique in that they can step into that leadership role at such a young age. And he wasn't even the highest paid player on the team. He wasn't even close to it. And the guys still listen to him. I mean, granted, he had John Lester and David Ross and Jason Hayward to kind of show him how to do it.
Yeah, but he kind of arrived before those guys, though. I mean, to be fair,
exactly.
Right? Like, he arrived. I mean, I know he was younger, and yes, his bona fides as far as being a major leaguer wasn't there, but he was with that team before all those guys were acquired or signed.
Right.
But he filled that role. He stepped up to the plate, and a lot of guys don't do that. And I'll point back. You said Anthony Rizzo, which immediately, and it's not tit for tat. Well, it kind of is, because we're Cubs Cardinals fans. But I look at Albert Pujols' leadership role he took on at a very young age with the St. Louis team that had the likes of Jim Edmonds, Scott Rowland. I mean, guys that had big names. Chris Carpenter, who would scares people even to this day, even at a reunion, just looking at him. So. There are certain players that can certainly do that. Tatis is he's a young guy, uber talented, but man, what a risky thing. I mean, there's a lot of GMs and president of baseball operations. I don't know what the acronym is there. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but they just wouldn't have done that. They would have waited a few years and maybe try to do it later, just to say, okay, look, we had a great rookie campaign or a debut. I want to just see it for at least 1 or 2 more years before I know. And it might cost me a little bit more, but I'd rather know that before I really throw down. I don't know.
Well, I think that there are two things. One, they're afraid of players like a Bryant. Or like a Lindor, who explode early on and start getting these massive arbitration raises. And they're like, oh crap, we're going to pay him $150 million before he even gets to arbitration, or before he even gets to the market. San Diego, they're not a tiny market, but they're not a big market. And so that that hurts.
But Pete,
But then I also
they only
wonder
have
if-
one. They only have one major sport at this point. Like they've lost their Chargers.
Right.
You know, they're down to baseball.
Yeah. And then the other thing I wonder is, is it a little bit easier to sign Latin players to extensions because they're coming from so much more relative poverty compared to what most American baseball players are coming from? Right? Like Chris Bryant, he was never going to sign an extension because he was already coming from middle class, upper middle class family, right? So he probably doesn't view the money as being as life changing as somebody like a Lindor, or a Tatis, or a Javi Baez. Whereas Anthony Rizzo, a cancer survivor,
We might have a guess, but keep going.
Anthony Rizzo, a cancer survivor, he sees that kind of money and ends up taking an under market contract extension. Because that kind of money is life changing, and he's already experienced. He's already been on the brink of death. I mean, not literally, but he's been close enough to where he's experienced it, and it's made it serious enough for him to where he wanted to lock in financial stability for his family in case anything ever happened again. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
And we've seen this time and again, and not just in sports, but we've seen it in our lives as well. Some people are just never ready for leadership. And some people it takes longer to step into those roles, and kind of looks like right now Fernando Tatis may not be that guy. Because a leader doesn't get challenged the way that Manny Machado challenged him in
that's the whole crux.
And certainly isn't told it's not about you, right? A true leader doesn't need to be told that it's not about them.
But then when you look at the source, if it's not about you, it's coming from Manny Machado, which initially you're like, really?
It's all about him.
It's all about you, actually. Okay, so that's our blurb on the Padres. Probably spent too much time on it. My fault. But we're here really to talk about the surprising 12-game winning streak from the St. Louis Cardinals. And full disclosure, today I saw that they were down 5-1 at one point, and it was during work hours. I was still trying to work, so I kind of ignored it. But then I got a text from our friend. Okay, I'm going to slide the thing down because he's making noise. I got a text from our buddy Gene that he said he's never seen a season like this. He can't believe it. I'm like, well, fuck. Now I got to look back at the score. Cardinals were up 8-5. They were down 5-1 today. And when I saw they were down, I'm like, you know what? They've won 11 in a row. They're going to lose one at some point. Like they are, and it's going to happen. I'm not trying to be Billy Bean in the A's, trying to watch 20 wins in a row, hanging on the edge of my seat every day. This is baseball. They're going to lose a game. It's okay. And I kind of resigned to the fact that, hey, they're going to drop one today, but they took 3 out of 4 against the Brewers, who have the 3rd best record in the National League this year. No, okay. And I saw that and I looked back and I'm like, oh my God, like they've swept the Brewers in a 4-game series. And I got a theory about that here in a second, Pete, but let me keep going through this. But in the last week, we've seen, like today, we saw Adam Wainwright get his 2,000th strikeout, his career. Been a little bit marred with injury. He's missed a couple seasons due to surgeries and torn ACL and Tommy John. Like he's been robbed of 2, maybe 3 years. And how much more could he have had? Cardinals legend John Lester picked up his 200th win against Milwaukee. So that was something interesting to see too. And so it's just one of those things, and people are saying it. Elliot texts it all the time, this Cardinals devil magic shit. I'm starting to believe it, man. I never believed it before, but I'm starting to kind of believe it's actually a thing. It's actually a thing. My son is on the line. I texted Mark Littell. I haven't heard from him back yet, but Braden's making all kinds of background noise, so I had to dial you down. Braden, 12 wins in a row. How are you feeling about that? You're probably still in school or coming home. Good, bad?
Well,
can't believe it.
So same thing happened to me. So I was in school when the game started, so I kind of forgot that they were playing.
Can you hold the phone closer? Can you hold the phone closer to your mouth and like not have it jammed down in a pillow or something? Okay.
Yeah, I will. Anyway, I got, it was like the end of the day. I was in my advisory period, which is pretty much like a study hall that everyone has at the end of the day. And I was like, I went on ESPN to look at something fantasy football. I didn't even check the score because I forgot they were playing. And I was like, oh, it's 5-0, which they were actually down 5-0. And I was like, wow, okay.
Well, you're probably like me at that point, right? Like, look, they've won 11 in a row. They're going to lose one at some point.
I wasn't too mad or whatever. And I got home, still kind of forgot they were playing just because anytime they played in our school, it's just the third thing on my mind. And so I was just like, okay. And then I was like, oh, I should check the score. And I was expecting it to be like 5-1, ninth inning, we're gonna lose, whatever. And I was like 7-5. It was 7-5 at the time, and I was like, wow, like what the hell? I did not expect that at all. So I'm dumbfounded. I really am shocked. But you know what? Of all the just pain and ups and downs this season, thank God it's finally something that's paying off. Because I mean, Jesus, some of those months it was like just a headache all season, and it was so stressful. And
yeah, I know.
Finally, it was paying off.
It was really bad. I mean, even when you and I went to a game, we saw them take 2 or 3 from the Royals. We knew in our hearts it was still the Royals, and we'll see what happens when they start playing real teams. And so they've went on this incredible run that here's the thing, and I haven't seen anybody put it out on Twitter yet. And I know somebody's who has more time than you and I do, Pete, is putting a clip together right now of Mike Schilt's post-game conferences that says, we're going to go on a run. We're going to go on a run. They're going to get front office people says, we're going to go on a run. We're going to go on a run. And all of us were like, really? That's not going to matter. You're going to bury yourself so deep that what you're going to do is you're going to go on a run, and then you're going to come up like 2 or 3 games short of actually making it. And that's what's going to happen. That's what you're setting us up for. And it looks like right now, unless they have a catastrophic failure going into Chicago, then they go home, another series against Milwaukee and Chicago. I don't know who put this goddamn schedule together, but I think they're sitting pretty well. They're going to get they're not going to catch Milwaukee in the division. I mean, I know they pulled within 7.5, but with only 11 games left, like Milwaukee has to fall on their face. I don't really think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to cough up the division in the last dozen games, but I guess more weird shit has happened, but I don't think it's going to happen here. The Cardinals' reward for doing all this is going to be facing the Giants or Dodgers for one single game where anything can happen. And the tragedy of this, Pete, and I mean this, is that you've got the Giants and Dodgers, both of those teams, both of them are going to win over 100 games. They're going to have to face the Cardinals, which have been shit for 80% of the year. And what's going to happen is devil magic's going to happen. They're going to throw their best out there, and the Cardinals are going to take them down in one game, and they're going to get into the real playoffs. And you're going to be like, oh, great, 100-win team. Thanks for trying. Here, the team that just got hot at the last minute that decided to finally play good they're in the next round. But thanks for trying. We'll see you next year. Welcome to the National League West.
All right, so let me ask you. Let's assume that things continue to progress the way that they do. Who do you throw in that wildcard game?
It's an interesting question now that we're talking about. Jack Flaherty's going to get the start on Friday. He's coming off the IL. So I think it's a hard question to answer right now because he's been out for 3 weeks, so we don't know what he looks like. So I really got to see, okay, how's he returning against Chicago on Friday? Wainwright has pitched. He's been their best pitcher all year. He gave up a granny in inning 1. And then what's funny, it's a total Adam Wainwright thing. He got his 2000th strikeout on a curveball.
Of course.
And then the next batter hit a home run. So that's a total Adam Wainwright way to do it. But I don't know, man. That's a tough question because there have been pitchers look, I know this is going to be blasphemy, but in high pressure games, high profile games, I want to say I trust Uncle Charlie, but I tell you what, man, in a high pressure game like this right now, who has experienced just as many high pressure games, who's come out on top? I got to tell you, you're not going to like my answer. John Lester.
Cardinals legend John Lester.
Cardinals legend John Lester is who I would, if you put a gun to my head right now and said you pick one of those St. Louis starters that are active right now, I'm going to tell you John Lester.
No way. No chance.
He says no chance, but he's also
Adam Wainwright is 100% the answer.
Well, yeah.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem with that, Braden. Then you only get him once in the next round.
Yeah, exactly. And I would rather have Adam Wainwright start game 1 of a 5-game series.
And then that
doesn't. But if I'm Shield, you shouldn't even be thinking about that because you're playing the Dodgers in a 1-game series. And if you lose, your season's done anyway. So if I'm Mike Shield, I'm thinking, okay, I'm throwing out my best possible pitcher no matter what because, if we win, great. We'll worry about who we're going to pitch in those 5 games anyway.
No, but you go back to Adam Wainwright in high-pressure, high-profile games. As much as I love Uncle Charlie, like game 1 of a key series, an all-star game, anything like that, like he's not – his star hasn't shined as bright as Lester in those big-time games. I mean, you can probably go back and look at the history.
If you don't want to go Adam Wainwright for those reasons, that's fine. But if Flaherty's healthy, then you have to go Flaherty.
Well, I'm holding judgment on Flaherty until we see him start a couple times. He's been on the IL. We don't know what kind of shape he's in. We're going to see him maybe on Friday, I hear, or I've read.
And the way that it's currently in, Flaherty's only going to get one start before the end of the season.
Yeah. So if you know he's fully healthy and locked in, it's no question. My answer is Flaherty. I wouldn't. That's my answer. But the fact that he's been
even
on
if
IL,
Flaherty's
I can't.
Healthy, I don't know. I still might go Adam Wainwright. I mean, the dude's easily, in my opinion, top 5 Cy Young candidate this year.
Braden, I will admit that about 10%.
He's not winning the Cy Young.
He's not.
I didn't say that. I say top 5 candidate.
He might
100%.
be. He might be. But part of my answer, about 10% of my answer for saying John Lester, is I just want Cub fans to watch John Lester pitch the Cardinals past that wild card.
Cardinals legend
John Lester, who got his 200th win wearing the birds on the bat. I want the Cub fans to see it, Braden. That's 10% of my answer. You have to factor that in.
That's a great answer, but what I think would even be more sweet is seeing the Cardinals fans who cried at the trade deadline.
I don't even care. I don't care about him.
I want to see those fans.
He actually didn't. There are several Twitter Cardinals fans that had been on record as saying Jay Happ and John Lester, this is the worst possible thing the Cardinals could have done at the trade deadline. And you know what? I knew they could be right, but I'm like, hey, look, how many times have we seen veterans or anybody else traded to another organization, even late in their career, where they're not the pitchers they once were, but they got traded over for one more push, one more chance to get into October baseball, and manage to reach back, pull out a little bit of something, and make something happen. Change of scenery, little shot of adrenaline, little shot in the arm. Like it happens, and we see it. No, we can't quantify it. Fangraphs and Baseball Savant have no fucking clue what I'm talking about. They don't. They don't calculate this. They don't calculate Will Clark being traded from Baltimore to St. Louis in 2000, led the team in hitting. They don't calculate these kind of moves. They don't calculate Larry Walker moving from Colorado to St. Louis in 2004, 2005, and having really productive seasons. Like, I am taking shots left and right at stat heads. Like if that is the only thing if that's the only oar that strokes your boat, fine. I don't care. But there's something to be said for somebody who gets a little bit of a change of scenery and a shot in the arm. I thought that not so much Jay Happ, but I thought Lester going to St. Louis, if they could make a push, would be a good move for the Cardinals to have a veteran in there, a guy he's been through the ringer, man. He's been through all of these tests. He knows how to handle the situation, and I've always thought that look, the worst move they could have made, that's what I have an issue with. Not that I was thinking at the deadline, my God, please get Lester. Please get Lester. I wasn't thinking that. None of us were. But when they did, I'm like, shit, that's a pretty good move. They need pitching reinforcement, and they got it. So,
And also, you don't know what effect he could have on the rest of the pitching staff simply by being there. You know, he's a veteran pitcher. You know, it's another set of eyes. It's another person with experience who can dissect a hitter, or who can dissect another team's pitcher, and come back and say, "Hey guys, this is what I'm seeing."
I know, but that's not on Fangraphs, Pete, or Baseball Savant, or charts, or anything else. And that's what you. That's why pitcher wins don't matter. That's why batting average sucks, and we should not pay attention to it ever. Because 300
RBIs too.
A 300 hitter is just shit.
RBIs too, and you should never steal a base. Go tell Dave Roberts that.
Or bunt ever. That's a given out. I hate bunts.
That's right.
But no, I mean,
so I was looking at this.
Braden, real quick, go ahead.
I think the Cardinals were easily probably the best destination for John Lester and Jay Happ, simply because Adam Wainwright
yes. J-Happ, yes. I don't know where else he could have gone, but yeah, I agree.
Well, no, it's not about that. It's Adam Wainwright is doing something really not many 40-year-olds or even that old pitchers have ever done ever. And so for John Lester and Jay Happ to even learn from Adam Wainwright, and how do I do this at such an old age? How do I throw new stuff and new mechanics? And I mean, they said in even post-game interviews that Adam Wainwright really, really, really helped them with that, because, I mean, when you're older and people have seen you for so long, like, you have to switch it up. And I just think that's honestly the best thing for those two pitchers.
Yeah. There's no doubt. You can't try to pitch like you were when you were 28, when you're 37, 38, 39. You have to get crafty. And Pete, I mean, I think we talked about this a few years ago that I thought Waino was done. What, 2 or 3 years ago? We had done this show a few times. I'm like, but to his credit, I mean, really, he's figured out how to extend himself, to figure out how to pitch into this age, and he has been their best pitcher this year. You can't really argue that. But I still am not in that one game playoff against a team especially like San Francisco. That's going to be the team that's going to frustrate you the most. The Dodgers, you expect, will get you. Team like San Francisco, boy, that would hurt. And because they've knocked the Cardinals out of the playoffs so many times that I hate. I know, Braden, I'm going against the grain, buddy, but I'm going with the veteran, the outsider, the Cub blue that some of those Giants might remember, but he's wearing red all of a sudden, so it disorients him. I'm going Lester in that one game play-in, and I really am.
Especially if they have to play the Giants, because Chris Bryant might cry when he sees John Lester facing.
He has a cute cry, though. Some people have a really, really ugly cry, and they sound terrible, and you don't even want to talk to them when they're crying. Even that, you can't even show that empathy. Like, I want to pat your back, but you have such an ugly cry face and sound. I can't do it. I think Chris Bryant has a pretty cute little crier, right? I mean, all of us wanted to kind of like, hey, buddy, it's okay. Just at least even a fake little nudge on the shoulder, right? I mean, we all want to do it.
It's going to be okay. You're going to get paid $40 million.
Right. You've made.
He's not getting paid for. He's not getting paid $40 million.
No, he's not going to. He had his chance at one point, but that ship has sailed.
Yep.
I don't want to belabor St. Louis's run here anymore. They're likely facing a one-game play-in. It's going to be against an NL West foe. But I tell you what, there's still a little bit of a race there. Philadelphia is only about 3 games behind Atlanta, and I'm not sure what the results were tonight. But
Philadelphia's 4.5 back of the Cards.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually looking at the schedule, and I got to say, I mean, and obviously this is me trying to jinx things.
Sure.
But when you look at the schedules, I think it's pretty safe. You guys have 7 games left against the Cubs, and we're terrible. So
there's still a little bit of oomph there.
I think taking 5 out of 7 there is the minimum, right? Like, you're disappointed if you don't win at least 5 of those 7 games. And then you got 3 against the Brewers, and who knows which way that's going to go. The Phillies play the Marlins, the Braves, and the Pirates. That's who they have left.
Jesus.
So it's
the Braves have
kind of similar. And then the Reds, who are only a game behind the Phillies, they play the Pirates and the Sox. So still,
I think their paths are a little tougher, but I'm
so not well.
I'm looking at the Braves schedule right now because I'm wondering who they're facing coming up, and this is interesting, right? So the Braves have to take on Philadelphia. Hold on, what day are we on? What is today?
Today's the 23rd.
So
Thursday.
They have a doubleheader against San Diego tomorrow and then play the Padres Saturday and Sunday. That might work well for them, but then they have to play the Phillies. So if they can't distance if they fail against the Padres and Philly takes care of their business, they got to face Philadelphia next week and then face New York Mets, who have the dumbest player on the planet, I'm convinced, in Javier Baez. Playing for them. Where is he going to end up next year? Real quick. Do you have any opinion at all? Braden, have you traded? Tell me you haven't traded for this guy. Where is Javi? Where is Javi's destination? Who wants him? He's got the capability.
He'll end up
like where? Baltimore?
Honestly,
go somewhere.
I have no clue where he's going to go.
I don't either.
But I don't think he's going to stay in New York after what happened with their
the thumbs down thing. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, and the whole fan base. If I'm like, honestly, Javier Baez is probably looking and being like, "Oh wow, this fan base sucks," and like, I don't want to be a part of it. And I feel like he's going to leave. The only thing I think will keep him staying is Francisco Lindor. But like, what's more important, like winning somewhere else and getting like huge bowl of cash?
I don't think a bro thing's going to keep him there. I think this is one chance to really cash in. Pete, where do you think he's going to go?
If they had any kind of a budget, I would put Miami right at the top of his list.
Yeah.
But they're not going to land him unless his market collapses. In which case, that'd be a shrewd move for the Marlins to sign him. If his market collapses, if they could get him, that would be a brilliant move on their part.
It would be a good destination for him, and I could see maybe a 1-year deal, like some kind of pillow contract to bring him there for 1 year. Try at least to reestablish some value. Yeah.
I don't think he's going. I know that there are a lot of Cubs fans who want to see it. I don't think he's going back to the Cubs. I think they want to find out what they have in the combination of Nick Madrigal and God, I'm blanking on his name because he's been injured the whole damn season. It seems like. And find out if that's their keystone combination for the next couple of years, or if either of them can be super the super Benzovers type of utility infielder or outfielder that they might be able to deploy elsewhere. So, boy, I don't know. He's not going to any of the West Coast teams because they're all fine.
He's
not going to the Dodgers. He's not going to hell. Maybe he'll go to the Angels. Maybe they'll spend even more money to have a pathetic team.
Well, they've done that historically. I mean, Artie Moreno,
right?
Turn the decisions over to somebody else because you have done a good job.
So I don't know. He's not going to the Rockies. I mean, obviously we know Trevor Story's gone, but he's not going to go to the Rockies because they're going to rip that team down to the studs.
You would probably want to build that. You would probably want to build that value back up, but
sure. Yeah, I don't know where.
I don't know. He's a mystery, man. It's what it's almost.
You know where he's going to end up? He's going to end up in Milwaukee.
That's probably not.
I think
that's a uniform I can see him in. I really can.
Yeah. Familiarity with the NL Central.
You may not be wrong. And he could be, he could be throwing.
Adames is on a 1 year deal.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Adames is in the last.
They traded for him. Yeah. He could be throwing wild throws over there to first base to Tommy Boy. So
And how bad, I just have to say, since we're talking about the Milwaukee Brewers, how bad do you feel? Oh, no, Willie Adames is still in his R beers.
Oh.
Still, I mean, theoretically, Baez is
Javi feeding Colton Wong double play balls. I mean, that's like
oh my God. Oh God. We'd both have to throw. I mean, at least Ryan Braun retired.
Yeah.
At least we can compare ourselves with that. Yeah, I don't know that I can deal with it. I don't know that I can deal with having Javi and Colton Wong turning double plays over to large adult son Dan Vogelbach over there at first base.
I mean, it's a 3-ring circus. I mean, at that point, it really is. And it's a 3-ring shit show. Sorry, Braden.
I tell you what, though, man, those throws better be spot on to first base because Danny's not very mobile.
No, I mean, but he tries to be, and that's the thing. He's such a big guy. He tries to act wiry and nimble, and it's not comfortable for him. I mean, just the way he wears the uniform is like, it's like me when I'm slightly bloated and I don't really fit that well into my work clothes, and I'm trying to act thinner, but I'm not. That's him, man.
That was absolutely my reaction when I texted you and Elliot a couple weeks back. The Cubs were playing them, and Vogelbach came up to hit. And I was just looking at him, and I was like, "My God, John Kruk is back."
No,
he is so damn big.
But I think Kruk embraced his size better. I think Vogelbach, and I feel for this kid, man. I don't know what I would do. Like, he's playing a sport where guys are generally smaller and they're a little more nimble, flexible. And when he's up there, he's like twitching, and he's like in his head, he's doing the mannerisms that a thin person or a thin, nimble person does. He's trying to do that. And I don't know if that's his natural thing, but I think he's trying to do it to like project that I'm mobile. I'm nimble.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's got body dysmorphia. He doesn't realize that he's fat. He actually thinks he's
fat. I don't even want to say he's fat because, I mean, look, dude, if you can move around on a baseball field.
Come on, he's fat. It doesn't matter that he can move around the baseball field. He's fat.
I know, but he's fat, Pete, but he's physically an athlete, and he could do things that we never could. So I struggle with calling him fat. I don't want to do that.
I'm not going to take that away from him. Right? Akibono was fat. He was an incredibly nimble
Rich Garces.
Sumo.
Rich Garces. No, you're let's stick strictly baseball. Rich Garces.
Okay, well,
badass.
Rich Garces. John Kruk. I'm Antonio Alfonseca. I mean, we can run down the list. We've done this before.
So many Cubs fit into this category. Like, what is it? Is it the bratwurst up there in Chicago? Is it the cheese? Like, what's going on?
I don't know. I think it's chicken and egg thing, right? Because Alfonseca was not a slim read before he got to Chicago. And
no,
Dan Vogelbach never actually
he was a Mariner. Chicago. Yeah, he was a Mariner, right? So
right. So I mean, I don't know, but yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. These guys are huge, and they can do incredible things.
But he tries to move twitchy and bounce around like he's and you're like, you're not buying it on TV. You're like, no, man, it's not like I'm like, hey, stop moving so fast because you're a big guy.
All right, Ron, here we go. You ready? I'm going to adopt the modern language of today.
Oh,
Dan Vogelbach is not fat. He identifies as a thin person. And that's why he's got all those twitches. He identifies as being thin and in incredible shape. And that's why he moves the way he does. You are trying to see you
so
and your cis white thin man patriarchy are trying to impose upon Dan Vogelbach an unrealistic ideal when he's perfect just the way he is, damn it. Why can't you love Dan Vogelbach the way that he is?
And you would get that reigning endorsement from AOC, and that is as political as we're ever going to get. And we're kind of done talking about that shit. Baseball is very strange right now. Cardinals are playing great. it doesn't pull me 100% back into baseball and being interested in wanting to podcast every week, because I still have issues with how this team has run itself, and I just see this big smile from John Mozeliak. Just they bailed him out by getting hot, and so Pete, this is all going to be spun as though this was the plan. We always knew this group was capable of doing this, and they did it. And look, we don't need to do anything in the offseason. We've got it right here. They're doing it right now. They just had to figure it out.
All right, translation to Rivals fans. We're definitely doing a show next week because the Cardinals will either be running on a 20-game winning streak or
Or a 6-game losing streak
by the Cubs and the Brewers. And I want that raw, unfiltered bile coming out of Ron as the Cardinals have lost 8 in a row and have choked away the
thing is, I've been on this
so
roller
we'll
coaster.
see you next Thursday.
No, the thing is, I've been on this roller coaster enough where I won't be shocked by it. It won't be bile. We'll call Gene on for bile, because instead of I try to get him to not tweet for a day, and then I don't know. He doesn't like to hear his voice on podcasts, and may have to just have him send his tweets directly into a speak and spell, and it can just.
You know what we can do? We can put a filter on him. we can run a filter that way he doesn't have to hear his voice.
Yeah, that might actually be a good suggestion. Braden, it is late. You have school tomorrow. Tried to call you the last 2 nights. You have not picked up.
Yeah, I was watching Star Wars Visions actually, and I didn't.
Star Wars Visions, great segue. You need say no more. I have watched a few of these, and I do like that they're allowing. And yes, this is a segue into another topic, but we're not going to do the whole intro. This is going to be really brief. So, baseball fans, please, if you want to bail now, and do all the things Pete told you at the front.
This is going to be long.
No, it's not going to be long. I've checked out Visions. Pete, you probably haven't, right?
No, actually the boy and I watched the first 3 episodes.
Okay, good. I
really liked the first one.
I have
really enjoyed that first one.
And I have actually watched the first 3 as well. I have not gone past that, so you and I are on the same page. Braden, I'm not sure where you stopped, but like I find
I watched the first 4.
Okay, cool. So you're not that far ahead. I like the idea that they're hey, you want to tell some kind of story in the universe and in a different kind of genre, a different style. Hey, we're opening it up. And I love the first episode. It was kind of a cool twist spin. I know it doesn't count. But I can appreciate at least the approach, the art to it. Got to tell you though, guys,
considered non-canon.
I think
I thought everything that Disney. I thought everything that Disney puts out.
But they still put out the Star Wars Lego crap and all that other stuff that doesn't count. Like, so I think this falls into that category where, hey, they did the holiday special with Star Wars Legos, which obviously doesn't count. I think Visions perhaps falls in that same category. Could be wrong, but I watched the first 3. First one was really cool. I thought it was different. There was not a lot of color. It was like a lot of black and white, but when color was needed, they put it in there.
I mean, I love the adaptation of an old Kurosawa, like a straight up adaptation of Kurosawa samurai film, especially because we know how influential Kurosawa was on Lucas. So to see an artist say, we're going all in on that, right? We're going to do a Star Wars samurai. Loved it.
Yeah. And there were a couple of these moments where I really, so the first episode, I thought, man, this is really interesting. This is great. Tatooine Rhapsody. That's kind of where I draw the line with this stuff. Braden, I don't know if you saw that one. You said you watched up through episode 4.
Yeah, so I watched. I'm pretty sure that was the second one, right?
Yeah, even your 10 and 8-year-old brothers, your mother-in-law, Tatooine Rhapsody was on in the background. Yeah, and Sam and I were watching it, and Sam kept looking up at me and going, "This is not Star Wars, is it?" I'm like,
I may have fallen asleep during that one.
Oh, it was
I actually
so
think I might
bad.
have fallen
So
asleep
bad.
during that one
So
as well.
bad. That is not what you think. Anyway,
Oh,
people that have not seen it, I don't want to discourage anyone from watching it, but if you want something that, George Lucas wanted the original holiday special buried, burned, never to be played again. I'm sure, absolutely sure, if this episode happened when he was still in control, he would want the same thing to happen to Tatooine Rhapsody. He would want it burned.
Yeah, I don't really understand what the point of that episode was.
It was bad. It
At all.
was so bad. And they used Tim Morrison's voice for the Boba Fett character in this episode, which is like, what a freaking wait. Whatever. I get they're trying to do something unique, kind of fun spin on Star Wars, maybe appeal to a little bit different audience, but I have to chalk that one up to really, really bad. And so a couple others after that were entertaining, but we won't get into it. I mean, let's break that down after the whole thing's over and we've been able to watch it all.
Yeah.
So Pete, it's time. We're past the hour. I know we started late. I don't know what you're looking at right now. Walk us out.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to help spread the word, please give us a 5-star review and tell your friends to subscribe. We're available on Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Also, be sure to check out the other Gateway City Sports Network podcasts, including the Derek King Sports Show, 2 for 3 with Michaels, Yacker Jacks, XFL, STL, my personal favorite, and the Cards with A-Train Arlington Lane. Send us an email at the show at TeamRivalsPodcast.com. Do us a favor. Those of you who are watching or listening to this after the fact, send Elliot a little love. You can find him on Twitter at TOR_Elliot, and you can find Ron at
TOR_Ron75.
It has been a pleasure, Ron. I was so heartened to see that you were up for doing a show tonight. So thanks for jumping on, buddy. And hey, maybe next week we can do this again, and I won't look like a pixelated mess on my 14.4 dial-up.
Max Headroom. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for those who joined tonight. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. We love you all so much. As always. Bye-bye, everyone.